They told us if we worked hard, went to college, and followed our passion, the dream would be waiting for us on a silver platter. Instead, we got two once-in-a-lifetime recessions, a global pandemic, and a housing market that looks like a game of Monopoly where all the properties were bought before we even rolled the dice. We're called entitled, lazy, and the participation trophy generation. But if you look at the data, in 2026, the reality is much more complex. We are the most educated, most stressed, and most in-between generation in history. We're talking about millennials. Hey winners, welcome back to Easy Psych. Here we give you the map to master your career, your relationships, and your own head. So if you're ready to take control, hit subscribe and turn on notifications now. Let's get into it. Today, we're unpacking the psychology of millennials. Who are we, really? Why is our collective brain wired so differently from our parents? And are we actually killing industries, or are we just trying to survive the ones that are killing us? Who are millennials? If you were born between 1981 and 1996, congrats, you're a millennial. In 2026, the oldest of us are turning 45 and the youngest are 30. We are no longer the kids. We are the managers, the parents, and increasingly the ones taking care of our aging boomer parents. We are the bridge generation. We're the last people on Earth who remember what the world smelled like before the internet. We remember the screech of a 56K dial-up modem, but we also remember the silence of a playground without a smartphone in sight. This analog childhood, digital adulthood split created a unique psychological blueprint. The way of thinking is optimistic realism. Why do we think the way we do? Psychology points to our upbringing. Many of us were raised by helicopter parents who told us we were special. We were the go-getters. But then the world broke. For a millennial, the psychological coming of age happened on September 11th. One day, the 90s era of end-of-history prosperity was real. The next, the world felt fragile. This created a generation that is fundamentally pragmatic but idealistic. We want to change the world, idealism, because we've seen how quickly it can fall apart, pragmatism. We value authenticity over authority. If a boomer respects a boss because of their title, a millennial respects a boss because they're a decent human being. We don't just want a paycheck, we want a purpose. And in 2026, that search for purpose is colliding head-on with a very harsh reality: the bank account. The Target run. You're in Target. You don't need that candle, but you've had a long week. It's Tuesday. You buy the candle because it's a small, controlled hit of dopamine in a world where you can't afford a down payment on a house in Austin or Seattle. Psychologists call this treat culture. It's a coping mechanism. When the big milestones, marriage, homeownership, feel out of reach, we pivot to small joys. This is the core of the millennial psyche, finding a way to feel like an adult in a system that makes us feel like perpetual teenagers. The financial crisis, the limping start. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the money. In 2026, the average millennial net worth is still significantly lower than Gen X or boomers at the same age. Why? Because we entered the workforce during the Great Recession of 2008. Imagine starting a 100-meter dash, but your shoes are tied together. That's us. We carry over $1 trillion in student debt collectively. In the US, the median home price in 2026 is hovering over $400,000, while our wages have moved at the speed of a glacier. This has led to delayed adulthood. We aren't killing the diamond industry because we hate shiny things. We're killing it because we're paying off a master's degree for a job that barely covers rent in a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 roommates. This financial precarity isn't just a bank issue, it's a psychological one. It creates a scarcity mindset, a constant low-level hum of anxiety that the rug could be pulled out at any moment. The mental health crisis, the anxious generation. That hum of anxiety, it's led to what researchers call the millennial mental health crisis. Statistically, we are the therapy generation. We are the most likely to have a therapist, use a meditation app, and talk openly about burnout. But why are we so burnt out? 1. The 24/7 hustle.
In the US, the side hustle isn't a hobby. For many, it's a survival strategy. We are the always-on generation. 2. Social media comparison. We are the first generation to compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel on Instagram and LinkedIn. You're scrolling at 11:30 p.m. in your apartment in Denver. You see a former high school classmate posting their new homeowner photo. Suddenly, your $18 cocktail from earlier tonight feels like a mistake. Your brain registers this as a failure to launch. This comparison trap leads to major depressive disorder, which hits millennials harder than any previous cohort. But there's a silver lining here. Because we suffer, we speak. We have destigmatized mental health in the American workplace more in 10 years than the previous generations did in 50. The burnout. Not just tired. Millennial burnout isn't just about working too many hours, it's decision fatigue. We have too many choices, thanks internet, and too little certainty, thanks economy. Anne Helen Peterson famously called us the burnout generation. We feel like we have to be optimizing every second. Even our hobbies, like sourdough baking or Peloton, become things we have to be good at. We don't know how to just be.
The good, the bad, and the future. The good. It's not all doom and gloom. The millennial psyche has some incredible superpowers. 1. Adaptive resilience. We are the masters of the pivot. We've had to be. We can learn a new software, a new career, or a new city in a weekend. 2. Inclusive mindset. We are the most diverse generation in US history, until Gen Z. We pushed for our rights, racial equity, and conscious consumerism to be the baseline, not the exception. 3. Team-oriented. Unlike the Lone Ranger style of some predecessors, millennials crave collaboration. We like the Slack culture, mostly, and the idea that we're in this together. The bad, or just misunderstood. Now let's be honest. We have some traits that drive people, and sometimes ourselves, crazy. 1. The need for validation. Remember those participation trophies? They created a deep-seated need for feedback. If a millennial doesn't get a good job emoji after a task, they might think they're getting fired. 2. Oversensitivity. Critics call us snowflakes. We call it empathy. But sometimes the line between protecting boundaries and being unable to handle conflict gets blurry. 3. Milestone obsession. We still cling to these old-school American markers of success, even when they're no longer realistic. We feel behind if we aren't married by 30, which leads to a lot of unnecessary midlife crises at 34. The future. So, where does this leave us? As we move deeper, the millennial psychology is shifting. We're moving from survival mode to legacy mode. We're starting to ask, what kind of world are we leaving for Gen Z and Gen Alpha? We are the ones currently redefining the work week. We are the ones forcing companies to care about the environment. We are the ones teaching our children that it's okay to cry and okay to ask for help. The participation trophy kids turned out to be the ones who had to fix the game. If you're a millennial, or if you work with one, what's the one thing people get wrong about our generation the most? Is it the laziness myth, or the idea that we're all obsessed with our phones? Drop a comment below. If this hit home for you, please subscribe. We're Easy Psyche, doing a deep dive into the psychology of Gen Z next week, and you won't want to miss how they're dealing with the world we're building. Thanks for watching.